Hey everyone, and welcome back to Rich Has an Opinion. This time I've been asked for my opinion, which actually makes a change. What I was asked is, if you had 3 wishes, what would they be? I like it. Let's jump on in. So the obvious 3: end world poverty, create world peace, end world hunger. Problem with that is 2 out of 3 of them won't work. So world peace sounds absolutely fantastic on paper, but then again so does socialism. The problem with creating sudden world peace, all these military units around the world, and paramilitary units as well, everyone's suddenly now friendly with each other, everybody's now happy, they get to lay down the weapons, they get to get the gear, they get to come home. But I generally believe that the way certain races and cultures are interacting with each other, within 6 months they'll either be deployed back out where they were, or deployed somewhere else that has a similar grievance. Just to expand on that, I genuinely believe that if Israel didn't have nuclear weapons and didn't have the USA as an ally, that some, if not all, of the Arab countries surrounding it would have either wiped it off the map or attempted to wipe it off the map. But again, that's just my opinion. And the next one that won't work is ending world poverty. And now, I'm not going to spend God knows how long googling the actual figures on this, so I'm just going to make some numbers up. Let's say 5% of the world's population is below the poverty line, and bear in mind that poverty line is different for various different countries. And 5% of the world's population is on that poverty line. That poverty line being based on, the sort of annual income you need to live what is classed as, whichever country you're living in, a basic life. So if we suddenly go out and give loads of money out to the 5% who are below the poverty line, because of the way economics works, all this new currency in the system then devalues what currency is already there. So if the money is worth less, then the prices of things go up. So what we've actually done then is taken what was 5% of people below the poverty line and 5% on the poverty line to now 10% below the poverty line, possibly more, because the poverty line has moved up due to the raising prices because of all this extra currency that's appeared out of nowhere. Now, I do believe, unfortunately, that there is always going to be somebody somewhere in every country below the poverty line. And I'm not saying it's a good thing or it should happen, but it just does happen because of the way we've built this world. Now, when it comes to getting yourself above the poverty line, that all depends on what kind of country you live in. Now, if you live in a capitalist country, getting yourself above the poverty line is pretty much entirely down to you. If you're in a capitalist country and you are below the poverty line, chances are that means you're unemployed. Which means if you want to be above the poverty line, you have to go out and get a job. Or if you want, you can go out and get better qualifications so you can get a better job. Or if you want, you can become an entrepreneur. You could be the next Elon Musk if you want. But it's up to you. You need to do that. Nobody else can do it for you. However, if you live in a socialist economy, then you have no choice whether you are above the poverty line or whether you're below the poverty line. If you're below the poverty line, then you just have to stand there with your hand out until the government put some money in it. And the problem with socialist policies is that money has been taken from someone else. So basically it's theft and you're taking someone else's money. I know which one I'd rather live in, and I'm glad I do. So no, I'm not going to waste 2 wishes on world peace and ending world poverty. However, I am going to go for ending world hunger. I believe that everybody in the world should get 3 decent meals a day. And let's expand on that a bit further. They should get 3 decent meals a day and have access to clean water. So that's wish 1 dealt with. Let's get on to wish 2. Now, with this one I thought, what we need is something that's going to improve the human population all around the world. So then I started thinking about, shall we say, genetic defects. And when I say that, I mean things that are passed on, hereditary, whether it be haemophilia, celiac disease, phagocytosis, or whether we're talking more serious things, that, result in people being born and have to use wheelchairs or walkers for the rest of their life, or whether they're born with a debilitating disease that eventually means they end up using a walker or a wheelchair or a text-to-speak computer like Stephen Hawking. And yeah, so I thought that would be a good step to improving the human population, get rid of anything that is genetic and passed down. Myself, I do have a disease that was passed down. I got it from my mother, she got it from her father, I passed it on to my daughter. It would be nice if I could just get rid of that completely. And then I started thinking, well, why just stop at genetic or physical things? Why don't we go down mental deficiencies? Should we say the things that make people want to be psychopaths or psychotics or sociopaths? Even things like autism, or things that make people, highly susceptible to being addicted to drugs. The kind of attitude that makes people want to be career criminals. I know a lot of people are forced into the criminal world or just slide into the drug world, but there are some people who are just born with an addictive personality and want to take drugs. There are some people who are born from nice neighbourhoods with good parents who didn't divorce, who still ended up as career criminals. Wouldn't it be nice to take those kind of thoughts away from people? And then I realised exactly what kind of rabbit hole I'm looking down. As soon as I looked at this one, I realised this is a dangerous game. How far do you go down before you start saying, okay, this is what is classed as good, this is what is classed as bad, this is what we're going to take out, this is what we're going to keep. And I realised it's starting to sound like a certain philosophy that I definitely do not agree with, a socialist philosophy. So yeah, step well away from that idea. So we need something else. So yeah, then I decided for Wish 2 there is only one thing that really I can do in my head that I think would be for the betterment of all humanity around the entire world. And this is probably where I'm going to get called the most amount of names, and that would be get rid of all religions ever, full stop, gone. So this is where people start calling me a heretic or an atheist. In reality, neither. I'm not an atheist, but I wouldn't exactly say I'm an active believer either. Where I am right now is, if someone turned around to me and said, is there a God? I would probably say, I don't know, is there? My views were very different many years ago, and a lot has changed since then, but I don't think this is the video to go into that. So, Wish 1, end world hunger and water shortage. Wish 2, remove all religions ever, which moves us on to Wish 3. And I started kind of going down the route of, well, where do we draw the line if we're going to start perfecting the human genome? Again, decided that's just far too much of a rabbit hole. So I decided, sod it, I'm going to be selfish and I'll have a wish for myself. And I decided I would have 2 pairs of arms like Goro from Mortal Kombat, if you remember that game. But yeah, I'm big into my video games. I play on PC, so I thought being able to use a mouse and keyboard while holding a cup of coffee and a slice of pizza all at the same time would be pretty awesome. So there we have it. That's my 3 wishes. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've stayed this long, thank you very much. Please hit a subscribe. It helps me more than you'll ever know. If you like the content, hit a like. Tell me why. If you dislike it, hit a dislike and tell me why. But either way, hit that subscribe. Thank you very much. This has been Rich Has an Opinion, and if you would like to hear my opinion on something, again, drop it in the comments.